All right guys, welcome back to the channel. We've got an exciting new build coming, I'll tell you about that, but we've also got something bigger that we're gonna start to do. Let me get into both. All right, so we'll start with the build. We're getting ready to do a Hammer Mercedes tribute build, W124, iconic car, really put Mercedes sedans on the map. Very important piece of Mercedes history. This is a build that I've always wanted to do along with a 190E. And so we've got that coming and I'm gonna take you through that on this series. But before I do that, I wanna talk about something new that I'm doing overall. So I've launched a new program called Curated for 911 South. I've had a lot of people on the channel, people on Instagram, friends and things in the area here in Atlanta that are in the car scene. Number one, think that the builds that I do look really cool and they're always interested in how they come together and kind of how my process works and things like that. But I've also had several people kind of proactively reach out and ask if I'd be willing to help them do a build and kind of weigh in on stuff or just take a car that they have and take it turnkey or whatever. So earlier this year, I decided to launch Curated by 911 South. And so I'm building up a pipeline of customer projects starting in 2025. I'm looking to do 4 or 5 of these per year. I already have a few in the queue, but basically Curated is something that can either be set the tone, kind of help you understand the vision, all the way to source the parts and then you order everything and do the build yourself with a local mechanic or a shop or DIY, all the way up to turnkey. So, we find the car together, I help you search for it, you purchase the vehicle, you have it sent to me, and I basically do everything soup to nuts. Some of which I'll do myself, others of which I'm gonna leverage all kinds of service relationships with different vendors and suppliers and shops that I've built over the years doing these builds. And so it can really be as much or as little help as you'd like. It's very menu format. And the idea is that the service itself is achievable and approachable from a cost perspective. You can sort of bite off as much help as you'd like from a price point perspective. But also, as you guys know, if you followed my builds, these builds are gonna be very focused on bang for the buck and ROI. As you know, I'm a huge stickler in terms of ensuring that everything has a budget and that we stick to that budget and determine how we're gonna best use those funds to get the maximum amount of return, whether that's aesthetic related return, whether that's preservation, mechanical, or resale. And so I'm always thinking about, is this piece worth spending money on? Is there a better alternative? Is there something that has the look that's a little cheaper? Where do we want to really spend? Where do we want to be smart? And so I'm always going to take that approach. That is the type of build I'm going to do. In terms of makes and models, it's really anything that you'd like. That said, obviously, I do a lot of Mercedes, Porsche, BMW, Land Rover, Range Rover, but if you're following the channel on Instagram, I just did a Ford F-250, 1996. So it can really be any car that you're interested in. Talking about it is free. So if you're interested, go to 911south.com. You'll see the Curated link there. Go ahead and fill out the contact form or reach out to me here on YouTube or through Instagram and just let me know what you're thinking. We can chat through it, no charge, bounce ideas off and determine if, it's a good fit for me to come and help. So that's Curated. That said, this is gonna be the first Curated build. So I was approached by one of those friends here in the Atlanta area, and he really wanted to do a classic Mercedes build, something we've been talking about for quite a while. And we were kind of on the fence between doing a 190E like Evo 1 tribute, but what we settled on was a Hammer tribute. So we're gonna start with that, with the W124 platform. And so this is a super iconic sedan that really was kind of right in that sweet spot of pre-merger AMG and Mercedes, kind of how the two intertwined. There's also an element of Porsche built into these cars with the V8 versions. And so we set out to set up this project. We went through and sort of set the vision, figured out how we wanted to tackle it. I built a parts list. I searched and researched and found everything. Shared that with my client here. We both settled on the approach forward, and then I went out and sourced all the parts in the car. The car we found was a really, really great find. It's a perfect starting point for this particular project. And so in this episode, I'm gonna walk you through where we're starting, the car that we purchased is kind of the base build car, and what we're gonna do to it. And then in the series, you'll start to see all the bits and pieces come together on the interior and the exterior and what have you. So really excited to be doing this one as the first official Curated by 911 South build. Very excited to be doing a Hammer Mercedes, just given their history in kind of the car world, how cool they look, and all those kind of things. This is also a car that isn't really that attainable. Real ones go for 7 figures. And so being able to do a tribute to this, I think makes a ton of sense for a car that's that limited in terms of attainability. And I'm really excited just to have my hands on, or our hands on, a piece of history essentially, or at least something that stays true to form and replicates that piece of history. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and take you through the car. Okay, so let me go ahead and walk you through what we're starting with, the car we purchased, kind of talk through some of the details of the build. With that visual, now that I've gone through the list, so you can get a sense of kind of where we're starting and where we're heading. Okay, so this is the vehicle we purchased. Like I said, it's a 92 E400, so it's in really good condition. I'm gonna kind of take you around the car. So in the front, old bumper, so you can see that it's faded, but we're gonna be replacing that with that AMG Type 1 bumper anyway, so no big deal there. It's already got headlights that are in really nice shape. We're gonna polish these up, get them nice and shiny and new. We are gonna keep the amber corners just for that period correct look. The other side, you can see these are in nice shape. Now this car did have the US headlight washers that had been removed by the previous owner. We're going for the Euro look for this Hammer build, so I've already ordered the parts that are gonna be the filler piece there, which are basically the European style, so we'll put those on before we paint. On the front grille, I'm going with a Hammer style grille, like I said, blacked out look. Moving around the side of the vehicle, we've got these beautiful 18-inch monoblock genuine AMG wheels. Now this was kind of a huge bonus that the car came with these. These wheels used are like $3,000. So we're gonna keep these existing wheels. I believe these are on spacers. I need to investigate. Looks like they are, but obviously the stance on this is off. These are a little too far out. I like a wide stance, but obviously not that wide. So I'm gonna get this in, take the wheels off, start to investigate the suspension and see if there are spacers. So we should be able to set those at the proper width. In the back, you know, they're in pretty good shape width-wise. I think maybe they could stand to come out just a tad, but we're gonna keep and refinish these wheels in the Hammer style. So the black on the inside and then keep the, you know, polished lip on the outside. So we'll get that look dialed in. The whole car is gonna come down on lowering springs. Looks like we've got at least an inch to inch and a half to play with. So we're gonna put some lowering springs and get this thing riding at the right height. We're going to obviously paint this lower trim as part of the paint work we do to install the side skirts underneath. You know, the whole car is gonna be blacked out for that Hammer look. Moving around to the back, we are going to put on the new bumper and we're gonna put on a ducktail on the back. We're gonna take the badging off and we'll just have that AMG badging. The existing taillights are in really nice shape, so we're gonna polish those up, get those dialed in. Trunk is functional. Everything back here works just fine. The interior of the trunk is nice and clean and simple. And as we move into the interior of the car, on the inside of the car, the interior of the car is actually in really, really nice shape. So all the doors and door cards and door wood trims are nice. All the seat components are fully functional. The steering wheel is an upgraded steering wheel from the previous owner. We are going to switch this out for the AMG style Momo steering wheel. So I've got all the parts to do that. That'll actually be our first project that I'll do here on the channel. The gauge cluster is in nice shape. As you can see, the car has about 132,000 miles. So pretty nice amount of mileage for a 92. If you think about it, that's not a lot of miles. This would be considered kind of a lower mile car, not low, but lower. All the headlights and fog lamps and everything work properly. The interior seats. So this one's in rough shape. As you can see, it's got cracks and splits and damage that was there existing. Actually did already cut a sample of this. So we're gonna put in new Recaro Classic seats, which is exactly what you'd find in the Hammers or maybe some of the 500s of this era. You know, the really nice, cool looking classic seats from Recaro. Got a source that I had to hunt down meticulously to figure that out, but I sent them a sample just so we can color match this perfectly. So those are gonna be new in here to go with the rest of this, you know, really nice conditioned interior. Gonna be going with new AMG door sills. These are a little beat up. And then just to wrap it up in the back seat's in really nice shape. Not a lot of use back here, as you can see. Leather's all in good condition. The floor area, carpets, door cards, and everything. So that is the overview of the car we started with. Really excited to get into this build. I know there's sort of a cult following with these particular Mercedes. A lot of people love this build. So hopefully this gives you an idea how to take, you know, a 400e or even a 500 if you'd like, and, you know, kind of give yourself a Hammer tribute that's got a sort of engine that's approaching Hammer status. You know, those were, again, 5-6 liters. You know, this one's a 4.2, but it is a V8. We are going to get the sound. This is the last thing I'll mention. So we are putting an AMG exhaust on this, and so that'll be here in the back. It's going to have the two square or rectangular tips you would typically see but it's gonna really open up that V8 and give us the sound we're looking for. And frankly, aside from the power, part of the reason you buy one of these. So hope you guys enjoyed this overview. Stay tuned for many episodes to come. Really excited to do this build for this customer. Really excited to be launching Curated as an official project, something that you guys out there who watch these videos can take advantage of if you have a build in mind and you'd like some help with it based on all the stuff I've learned and the process I've sort of put together. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please reach out if you have questions about Curated and how it works, and I'll catch you on the next episode of this one.